Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Overwatch All-Star Brawl, presented to you by Star eSports. This is a double elimination tournament. It's going to be dedicated to the Overwatch Tier 3 community, as you'll probably see with the high caliber of team that we have here. I'm Man of Class. I'm hoping to bring this to you tonight. And I got Shy Guy with me, who's obviously doing great today as well. Before we begin, we are powered by OmniCoach. So if you want to, see what OmniCoach is all about, and you actually want to have a good experience using OmniCoach, you can use the promo code Star Esports for 10% off the first video package offer, which is a great deal. And they support us, we support them, and we hope you support both of us. Today we're gonna have the Redacted taking on the New England Whalers in match number 5 of the upper bracket. So first week still. And yeah, once again, I'm in a class joined by Shy Guy. How are you doing tonight, Shy Guy?
I'm just pumped to be here. Like you said, we are dedicated to the tier 3 scene, and the teams that we've got here in this tournament, in my mind, kind of represent the best of the best when it comes to the tier 3 scene. We've got a lot of new faces in for this version, or this go round of the tournament, along with some very familiar teams as well, like both of the teams we're about to see, Redacted and New England. And of course, they are pretty familiar with each other, having gone head to head in the last tournament. Redacted did take that one 3-0, but New England gonna have a chance for perhaps a little bit of redemption here tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, got into the last one. They definitely are looking for some redemption, but they made some roster changes, so that might be doable. Before we can talk a little bit more about that, and before we actually get into the game, though, we've got something very exciting here, because we've got it's Dave here with he's basically you are the co-owner of New England Whalers, I suppose. So tell us a little bit more about yourself. Like, that's the basic stuff, but we want to know more.
Sure. Yeah. As you said, my name is Devin. I'm the co-owner and director of content for the New England Whalers. So if you see anything on our stream involving our teams all throughout the games that we play, it's going to be me pressing buttons and doing transitions and bringing people in. And as of lately for Counter-Strike, I've been casting those matches.
Ooh, now that's exciting. And that's obviously shoes we know that you're going to be filling at those points in time. So you say you're doing a lot of the content for New England Whalers, and New England Whalers is more than just Overwatch. You already mentioned Counter-Strike. Like, how many different games are you involved in?
Right now we have Counter-Strike, Overwatch, PUBG Mobile. Those are our big focuses. We also have a team in Rocket League, and we're also filling out other teams as well. We're currently fielding a few for, I believe, Rainbow Six, Call of Duty. We're trying to expand out as much as we can here in our early stages.
Yeah, it does feel a little bit like a lot of shooters, at least, in there. But there's plenty of things out there. It does seem like those are the competitive games you are looking at, though. Like, is there a reason why you got into that, that classification of games, so to speak?
I think Diego and myself, we got together playing Counter-Strike. That was what we mostly were interested in. I've always played Blizzard games. My World of Warcraft account is, man, it's old. It's old, and lots of money has been dumped into it. So I play everything that Blizzard puts out to StarCraft, Diablo, Hearthstone. I even played a lot of Heroes of the Storm, but we're also venturing into League of Legends and Dota 2. I did forget about those two, but yeah, mostly we love shooters. I believe there's some of the most skill-based games that there are, so we like to field those players.
Yeah, it's personally as well. When you look towards the competitive esports scene, there's a lot of shooters in there. Like, next to the MOBAs, it's almost all shooters. So I definitely get the pull towards them. And I'm an FPS player myself as well, so I know how that goes. Do you find yourself playing games less now that you actually work within the esports industry, like for the competitive scene?
Yeah, I do. This has probably been one of the most down years of me playing games, but it's good. It's a good thing, because I like to, and I think all of the admins for New England Whalers can agree with this. Getting behind esports and really doubling down on the industry as a whole for the betterment of the players is really where our interest is. Playing games is nice, but making sure everybody can play evenly and get recognition and have some backing behind them is just as enjoyable.
Yeah. What do you think is one of the main challenges you face like on a regular basis when it comes to this like line of work?
Honestly, the fact that a lot of people don't really understand it yet. Like smaller channels, casting, we're one of those as well. Not by smaller, I mean not getting thousands and thousands and retweets by big, huge players with big, huge followings. But people just don't really understand it quite yet, and there's a lot of us out there, but I think that's the biggest thing. It's just the misconception that comes with being a gamer.
Yeah. I think that's something a lot of people will recognize as well. Probably all the viewers here are now nodding like, yes. Every single time I mention gaming, my parents are like, oh, there he goes again. Just go play outside or something, do some sports. I don't know what, but yeah, it's a really the tides. It feels like they're turning though. Like I don't know if you notice it yourself. Like when you talk to people that that don't have much to do with the industry, like there's more recognition or more, oh, I sort of know what it is.
Yeah, I got some messages the other day because of Overwatch League being on ABC. It's also we see random games popping up on ESPN, and it's becoming more of a household kind of thing. Maybe not the living room. It may not be happening in the living room, but it's starting to happen and it's starting to get big. And we're probably just as excited as anybody else is.
Yeah, I really hope that New England Whalers can play a good part in making it even bigger and more mainstream as it is. So I wish you all the best luck with that. I'm going to give you a little bit of an opportunity to shout out to whoever you want or whatever you want, or is just get a little bit more word out there about anything. So go ahead, the floor is yours.
Sure, thank you. Shout out to our guys. They've been putting in a lot of work. We've had some roster changes. I've recognized some of the names over here on Redacted. We're just trying to get back together, trying to get our practices in and get our scrims in to be a top competing team. Shout out to all our other teams as well for putting in work. Counter-Strike teams in the playoffs right now. PUBG Mobile is playing in a tournament. Shout out to all our players. Shout out to every player, everybody that's playing in this tournament and any tournament. Just keep going, keep grinding away. You got this.
Nice, a good homage to the gamers, as we say. Now, I want to thank you for your time. I always like getting these different types of interviews in because players and coaches, we hear a lot from them, but this is a very nice change of pace. So thank you for your time, and good luck. Maybe enjoy watching the game, and who knows, maybe they'll pull out the victory today.
Yeah, absolutely watching. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
No problem. Have a good one.
You too.
Okay, so that was it's Devon, the co-owner of the New England Whalers, a content creator for them. I really like that interview, Shy guys. A little bit of a different perspective than we usually get.
Yeah, we're normally talking to coaches, players, managers. I think we've even had VOD recorders, people who are directly involved with the day-to-day of the Overwatch team, and to see a little bit of the organizational side, I think is pretty fascinating.
Yeah, and with that, we're not going to keep anyone waiting. The players were already getting a little bit antsy, so we're getting into the game, starting on Junkertown, which is a map we often see banned. So that's a nice change of pace.
Certainly, I don't get to see a whole lot of Junkertown, at least not recently. So I'm excited. It always makes things interesting at the very least. No matter what your feelings on this map are, the kind of strategies that we see on this are unlike pretty much any other map in Overwatch. So it's always a fun watch.
Yeah, I'm looking at these two teams. Are there any things you might make any predictions or things we might be seeing coming out of them?
No, there's always the opportunity for bunker / pirate ship compositions here on Junkertown. This is one of the best places in the world, but I have a feeling we'll see some snipers. The long sightlines here are just perfect for Widowmaker, and that might be the case. Doesn't look like that's going to be the reality for Redacted, at least coming out on the defense, they are going with the tried and true, the classic 3-3 composition here.
And I think that's not really a bad idea, right? Because you don't really know what's going to come at you. So you want to have the most versatile or at least effective comp to hold them as long as possible on the first, and maybe you can switch after that. This might be like the best choice in that regard still.
Certainly, and I mean that's one of the reasons why Goats has been the metaphor for so long. It's starting to change a little bit, but it is still one of the most versatile comps you can play. It can work against a lot of different things on the other side, but it might have a little bit of trouble here going up against the 4 DPS setup of the New England Whalers.
Yeah, they immediately spot them out. Yeedle throwing a nice sonar arrow. Not so often you see that guy on a Hanzo picks, usually on one of the off tanks, but this time around going for that one, and they're just spamming into this corridor. Redacted can do nothing but just stay in that room and just try and now stress on them, but they're spread apart. That's not what Goats wants. They do take out Honey Badger on the Bastion though, so that's a good pick to start off with. And it doesn't look like the res is going to be able to come in, but there's still so much damage being pumped out here by the New England Whalers. And they're doing a good job of it. Kuya already out of the mech, the biggest damage negation in the mech, and the Reinhardt already gone. Freyu falling as well. So it looks like while they got the Bastion and the Orisa, they're going to do nothing but buy some time here.
Certainly, they did a good job of using that speed boost to kind of close the gap and get right up into the face of that Bastion and to take down Honey Badger. But you know, ultimately, there's still too many other sources of damage, too many other angles to worry about, and they just get whittled down eventually. They are going to make some wholesale swaps to their composition to try to come out here, really make a go of contesting here on point A with an Orisa of their own in the lineup now.
I think a very split-up approach, but it's Yeedle with the Dragon already going straight for the Ashe and the Mercy in that corridor. Will actually take out Brook straight away and beam to follow up Yeedle on a warpath here. The tire didn't get much, but it doesn't seem like it had to. When they already get 3, they lose 2 of their own, but they do get the checkpoint. It's going to be New England Whalers moving into streets here. They did lose some people at the end, though, so they won't be able to aggress as much as they might want to. But with that late pick on Max Dimencio, that's actually really good.
Certainly, they're going to get a lot of distance off of that as Redacted have to regroup, pull back together. They're now kind of in the spawn, trying to decide exactly what they're going to be playing. They seem to want to continue with this, you know, triple sniper DPS setup. It's a little unusual, a little bit harder to make work here on point B, but they're going to try to give it a go.
It's even harder to make work when you just have a fire barraging in your face, and Potato is going to go even deeper, but gets taken out by Dembek. That means the res of Brooks can come in, and now they're the numbers disadvantage. Yes, they have the supercharger still out. They can do a lot of damage, but who is there to do the damage because they don't have the Pharah? Brooks is going to take out Honey Badger, and it looks like New England Whalers are in a very tough spot here. They might still be able to sneak in the payload, but no, with that Dragon, kill him dynamic, that's going to be the end of Lucid Science soon. And they actually managed to hold off here on the side of Redacted. Nice hold.
I think ultimately they're probably okay with this. This is now the time to make some swaps if you are the New England Whalers. You know, it looks like we might be getting a little bit, but they want to continue trying to run the Orisa. They've got the Roadhog in the lineup now, so they've got a way to kind of dislodge these targets of Redacted who are set up on the high ground right now.
And they're going in, but they immediately get halted. Roto gets slept, and I lose connection to the game server. So I gonna have to have you do my job here, Shy Guy.
Yeah, I'll take it from here. And the Whalers are, you know, trying to stick around in this fight, but having a hard time. You know, Biz gets taken down for, I believe, a second time after the res there. The Valkyrie is out from Dynamic, but New England has no way to really force a fight. Everybody up on the high ground for Redacted, and they just can't close the gap. They can't get the shots that they need, and they're just getting torn to pieces right now as they try to make their way through these choke points, get back to the cart. They are a long way from, you know, making this payload reach point B, especially with it rolling backwards now. They didn't even really get to stop it from moving that entire last fight, so They don't want to change too much up. Yeedle going over to the D.Va, or I guess made that change prior to the last fight to try to give them protection from all these snipers on the side of Redacted, but with Dimbek throwing out that supercharger, they are going to have a hard time getting in here. Still, you know, trying to make it happen, but they're approaching from the low ground. They're taking so much spam. The shield for Lucid Science isn't lasting very long at all. And Brooks is just ripping them to pieces right now, getting the damage boost with the Mercy, coming in on the flanks and making life difficult for the New England Whalers, who have been somewhat kind of stopped in their tracks right now, having to try to get this payload moving once again, because it's been a while now. They've lost the last 3 fights here on Junkertown. We're now down to 1.5 minutes remaining. They are in an awkward position here. Once a very promising time bank is being whittled down to very little left.
They're gonna try and get ahead now. They do have the self-destruct coming up, not much else. But that might be enough to open it up, because you can get some multi-kills with that. The Dragon doesn't get anything, but Lucid Science does still go down to Kuya with those Storm Arrows. So nicely done there for the set of Redacted. New England Whalers not willing to give up this push just yet, though, because they do have enough members and power to get through here. But it does seem like they're semi-regrouping. And Dynamic just gets picked off on the flank, because Kuya's positioning is just on point. They know exactly where they are. Just go in, get the kill. And even though Winston is now back, they're still missing the Lucio. So they just keep missing one player after the other.
And they finally make the decision to completely back off. They thought they could hang around and kind of keep that fight going on the edges, stay safe. But Kuya puts a stop to that, and he is continuing on the warpath. This time, taking down Honey Badger. All this stall is coming through, and now it's going to be one more chance for New England here.
Yeah, Kuya really keeps putting a hamper on their progress. They just want to go further and further, but they just can't really do it. And yeah, he's already ready for the next shot. It goes up to Lucid Science. Lucid Science luckily having enough health. And then they jump on the Hanzo with the Nano Winston. They get the kill on it by Potato. The self-destruct comes in, splitting off a little bit of the team, and now they can go on to Dembek without much support. The anti-heal goes on, and Lucid Science falls to the side of Maxi Dimensio, though. And Brooks and Dembek bring another 2 back, so it looks like once again Redacted is going to hold this off, and this might be where the payload's going to stop.
And the thing is, their Redacted just didn't really have to play on the cart for most of that fight. They were willing to let progress go a little bit, as long as they were getting the kills. They throw the supercharger out. They have the dragons there at the end to secure the cleanup, and they are able to put together a really impressive hold there on Junkertown Point B.
Yeah, this is even more impressive because when they got into Point B, they had swapped up their entire composition. They had no ultimates. And New England Whalers, they had quite a few. They had the Riptire, the Barrage, but they just couldn't get the value out of those. And Redacted just defended against those well enough so that they could turn the ultimate rotations around. And that's like the biggest thing right now in Overwatch. When you have control of that ultimate economy, they're not able to do anything against you.
Certainly, and if you are New England Whalers there, I think the swap over to that 3-3 comp needed to come a little bit sooner. They didn't have time to build up to those big ultimates, the Graviton Surges, the Primal Rage. They just never got those online at any point there on Point B, and every time they tried to take a fight, they were at a severe disadvantage. So I think they held on to their initial comp for just a little too long, and it cost them here on Junkertown. But they are still very much in this. This is a point where you can put together a really strong defense.
Yeah, I guess the cart almost made it to Point B, so it's actually not as close to Point A checkpoint as it looked at the end of that map, because it had just retracted a little bit. But we're going to see what some people call a pulled pork defense here. So we're going to have the Rodok and the Orisa, so getting the hold hook out. And yeah, that's going to be an interesting approach, because it's very different from the goats we saw coming out.
Certainly, and we're basically going to have close to mirror composition. Jeetle again
nice
opting to go with the Diva. Is getting first blood here on the defense. They should be able to get a res there, but it looks like Beam might be a little bit afraid of sticking his head out.
I mean, they used the halt of Lucid Science to get that kill, because they just pulled Maxi Dimensio up into the air, and then the shot from Biz came out. They have retreated a little bit, though. They're now around this corner, and Kuya, again on the flank, is going to go for this. Takes down Dynamic straight away, and Honey Badger falls to Brooks. Biz does counter this, but they are still relatively even in numbers, and these 3 tanks can be very tanky, but they don't have any healing right now. They only have the Rodok self-heal and a big health pack on the side.
Yes, but Redacted doesn't really have the means to push the cart right now. Only their damage dealers and their healers are the ones alive, so they're finally regrouping. Biz going to get yet another opening pick off here as the Whalers fully regroup. They've got their 6 back on the cart, so they're in a very good spot here to keep this one going.
Now, a big difference here, you see Yido constantly eating those halts from Dembek, and that's not possible with the halts of Lucid Science because there's no Diva on the attacker side here. So Redacted has to find a different way of getting some combos with that. They are doing a lot of flanking here, though, so Kuya and Brooks consistently getting around those flanks, trying to do the damage. And now even Bob is going to get on the flank, trying to do as much damage. And Potato has plenty of health, will not be phased by that too much, but that Dynamite does so much. Dynamic will actually go down to that Dynamite, so does Honey Badger. And this is probably just open everything up because they have nothing to defend with. Biz is trying, but it's just Brooks all the way, just gets everyone.
Yeah, the damage boosted Dynamite kicks things off, and then the shots from Brooks are on point as well, as Redacted forces their way through point A. Now they've got 4.5 minutes to reach nearly the end of point B, and Junkertown will be theirs.
Yeah, but I mean, we saw New England Whalers with a similar time bank, so everything is still definitely possible. I'm going to be seeing quite some ultimates online for both teams, but ultimates don't really matter if Brooks just takes out your Hansa straight away. Will be rezzed up though, so they do still have that, but with the infra sites coming out here from Mux Dimencio, that could be very dangerous, and the Dragon shows exactly why. It takes out Honey Badger once again, no rest available, so they'll actually have to get some kills now in order to trade this back, and it does look like they're able to do it. Potato and Biz falling. This is Redacted on a roll here, just steamrolling through Junkertown like it's nothing. They do still have Dynamic on this health pack in the corner, but what can a solo Mercy do? She is in Valkyrie mode, but even that will just be burned down like it's nothing.
It made her pesky for a second, but
yeah, I mean, I would say like a knife through hot butter, but they didn't really have any blades there, so I don't know what you want to call it. But that was a good showing from Redacted there, although it did look a little bit promising from New England Whalers at times. It wasn't like this play from Brooks, just I would say says it all for the attack, because I think Brooks really opened everything up, and just that damage boosted Mercy. Wow, like look how much damage is coming out from that.
Yeah, they're just pouring resources into their star DPS right now, and Brooks is paying that back in full, coming up huge for Redacted right now, who yes, gave up some ground on point A with their initial defense here on Junkertown when they tried to break out the goats, but pretty much as soon as they opted into playing DPS, and particularly getting over to those snipers, they really started to take control.
Yeah, they really did. And normally you see those Widow plays on a map like Junkertown, right? So you just constantly see, oh, the Widow gets a headshot here, gets a headshot there, and or maybe the Hanzo sometimes. But this time around, it was just the Ashe. The Ashe did so much work. The Hanzo as well, to be honest. Kuya did a lot of work on that Hanzo. But that Brooks Ashe, that was such a game changer. Because with all those large health pools that they had on New England Whalers, both on the attack and the defense, they were running 3 tanks at some point.
And only
that is
one
just
healer.
Yeah, and then only one heal, exactly. And it's not even one healer is not a big deal, but if it had been something like a Baptiste where you could do the AoE healing that sort of negates that damage, then that's fine. But Mercy is that single target healer that only in Valkyrie mode can do that. So that was, I think, a lot of what they were struggling with.
Yes, keeping all 3 of those tanks topped off when you've got fire coming in from every possible angle, the snipers for Redacted just spreading out across the map, making sure that the shield is not going to be enough protection for the New England Whalers. Lucid Science can only really block off one of those angles with the Orisha shield, and meanwhile there's always someone flanking you looking for an alternate angle, and you just cannot withstand that constant barrage of long range fire. And eventually Redacted are gonna break through.
Yeah, that's always likely gonna happen in that case. But we're gonna go to Ilios here, and for anyone who's watched anything concerning us before, no hero bans, we're just a map and pick ban. So we're gonna go to Ilios. Everything available as we love it. You don't want to ban anything out, so we're just gonna go for that. And what are we looking forward to here?
At least here on Well, where we're going to start things off, I'm fully expecting to see more of the Orisa, perhaps from both of these teams. They both look very comfortable with it. in kind of different forms and varying, what they put around that. But that's definitely what I think the centerpiece is going to be here on Well.
Yeah, I'm waiting for one thing though, because we do have to address the Yeetle in the room. He is known for his amazing Wrecking Ball play. We've seen him on Hanzo, seen him on Diva, but do you think that Wrecking Ball is going to come out at some point at all?
It's definitely a possibility. I would say a little more likely after we get away from Well. You could definitely see something like that on Lighthouse, but we'll get our hero picks in just a moment. So far, Redacted looking very, very comfortable with the Orisa and playing the DPS around it. But New England Warriors have shown that's how they want to play so far. So if they keep kind of running into each other with that similar style, can New England find an answer and really change things up?
Yeah, maybe they could. They're going to go for a Winston 3-3 with the Ana Honey Badger. Looks like at least. They still have 10 seconds, but it looks like a composition they might want to stick on. On the other side, though, it's going to be interesting what we see. We've seen Brooks on both the Ashe and the Reaper a lot. So if this Reaper is going to stick, which it looks like it is, that could be very detrimental to the other side. Although that's mostly a problem for Lucid Signs, I feel.
Certainly. I mean, how do you dive on top of this team that Redacted has? You get in there and you're just going to get shredded. Brooks already on the flank looking to come in from behind, but New England Whalers not even giving them the chance.
Yeah, you can't come in from behind when there is no behind for them. And Brooks does take out Honey Badger, though. But Kuya has also fallen, so it's an even trade for now. Brooks also takes out Potato. It falls for that. Denbeck on Dynamic. There's so much happening right now, and it's a very chaotic fight. But it looks like that's going to work in favor of Redacted in the end because of that Torbjorn. And that Torbjorn does so much with that turret.
Yeah, if you can be hitting those shots from long range, and now the turret actually gets the D-Mech onto Yeetle as he's trying to back out, escape. He'll eventually just reset himself and go rejoin the rest of the team. As now New England Whalers making some swaps. Potato back over to the Pharah.
Yeah, and that makes sense because they don't really have any hit scan to deal with the Pharah like that. They do have the Torbjorn turret and they do have the Ana to a degree, but they shouldn't have all the tools necessary to deal with the turret. Brooks again behind them though, takes down both Biz and Yeetle. Brooks is unstoppable. Yes, gets taken out again, but if you take down two, your job is done. That being said though, they do trade Brooks and Beam back. So with that res coming in onto Yeetle, that should be a good push here for the New England Whalers, but it doesn't look like it when Kuya gets another kill onto the Hanzo. This is looking so good for Redacted because whatever happens, they trade something back.
Certainly, and all the while they're building up charge here on the point, getting more and more percentage. They're the members they lost are back into the fight immediately thanks to that speed boost. They continue to extend themselves here, and it might cost them a little bit, but that is still a successful fight. Even if they eventually lose in the end, they have already built up to 75%.
Yeah, Potato already takes down that turret, so they won't have to deal with that for a little bit. But the Molten Core comes in. I don't know if there's anyone that can really hit right now because Lucid Signs is on the point, but it's not really in a place where it can be hit. Does dodge the wall though. It's a nice dodge, but with the Nano Death Blossom coming in from Brooks, that is 3 kills down, and that is not something you're going to recover from, especially when it's the last fight. So it looks like Redacted's going to be taking this on a huge play from Brooks, and Brooks is definitely... I don't know, like Brooks has been showing up on both the Ashe and the Reaper now, and it's looking to be a little bit insane. And the question is, how are you going to shut that down?
That was unreal. I mean, I think it's going to be much more difficult for him to continue running the Reaper as we move into some different maps here on Ilios. It could be possible here on Ruins, but if you think to Lighthouse or something like that, it's not going to be really viable. So I don't think that New England Whalers have to worry about that in particular, but Brooks, like you said, Brooks has been a menace on everything he's touched so far. This time, it looks like it's going to be the Widowmaker here.
Yeah, Widowmaker coming out from Brooks. No challenge on the other side. They're going to go back to this 3-3 with the Reinhardt this time and the Zenyatta. So it will be maybe difficult for them to defend against the DPS, won't it?
They struggled with it last time, but this is probably a better map for the 3-3 in general. You've got the enclosed spaces here on the point, and they will be taking this space immediately. Lucid Science marching forward, but Kuya already finds a pick.
Yeah, Lucid Science changes it back though, and you know, you'd rather lose Zenyatta than one of your 3 sports than one of your DPS most of the time. But it doesn't look like it's going to matter much. Kuya gets res back up, and it's going to be everything taken down here for the Winglet Whalers. Lucid Science goes for the Hail Mary charge, but that's not going to lead to anything. Probably just going for the quick death there.
Yeah, when Honey Badger goes down there without the Discord Orb, there's really nothing to deter Max Dementio from going in deep there, and he absolutely rips them to pieces. They're going to have a hard time approaching here, as you know, both of these snipers and the Pharah just constantly laying in damage as they even try to get near the point.
Yeah, and they're gonna go exactly. They're gonna go over this bridge. Dutch as much as the map structure really helping them out there, but they're still gonna have to somehow get this Pharah and this Widow and the range damage out. Because standing on point is not going to do them much, and you're going to really see it. All the damage peppering in. They do get Kuya already, but there comes the barrage. Brooks take down Lucid Science for the last decent bit of damage, and now they're just in that little room. No shields, no nothing, and all the damage still raining in. They still haven't controlled the point even. This is going to be another, almost a team wipe, because the only one who gets out alive is Yeedle.
This is a kind of worst case scenario for the Whalers right now.
Brooks.
They're getting hunted down. Brooks with
in the
no
spawn.
mercy.
That was essentially in spawn. Look at where Potato died. Like, Lucid Science is almost standing on that corpse, and that is what, like 10 meters out of spawn? That is not a lot, guys. That's yeah, you gotta want that life back. They're gonna try again, obviously. They're not gonna sit in spawn, but this might be a last fight territory, because even if they win this one, it's gonna be hard.
And they're pushing into 5 ultimates on the side. They are going to have some tools up shortly.
Oh, the dragon! Kuya! That is not okay. And you know they're going to go into that room. You know they're going to do something there. So you just throw the dragon, kill everything. They're going to get the stagger on the Yeedle here. 88% and counting. And this is going to be hard for them to even make it back in time, because 86 is usually the cutoff.
And, I mean, Dynamic is going to potentially get there if these DPS don't take him out on his
Oh, they
way
do
in.
see him, and they get him. That's going to be the map of Ilios also going to Redacted. And it looks like this might be a short affair, because that's already 2 up for Redacted, and they haven't really skipped a beat so far.
No, I can't say I'm insanely surprised. We know that Redacted is such a great team, and we know that they have some incredible talents, and we've got to see them in full force here tonight. Kuya and Brooks on that map in particular just really took over. I mean, the same was kind of true there on Junkertown. These snipers are working wonders for Redacted at the moment, and they are just owning this game.
Do you think there's a possibility they can go to a map that doesn't play as much into that?
It'd be hard because I think Ilios was not a terrible choice, although I mean it ultimately doesn't work out well at all for New England Whalers. And you know it's hard to say. There are options that you can go to that give you a little bit more of an opportunity, but like if you look at our map pool, we don't have Kings Row in the lineup, which is like the classic map that everyone would go to if you want to play goats and you want to get away from those snipers. But that's not an option here. So, you could go somewhere like a Temple of Anubis, maybe, potentially even a Lijiang Tower, but we just saw how Control worked.
Yeah, I mean, we just saw that, and it's you can't play it straight away. The Control map won in a row, so you'd have to go to a different map type. So we'll see what the what map got banned. What got banned. Okay, so yeah, there's still opportunity for another hybrid map, escort map, assault map. Like there's definitely a different thing. Where are they gonna go though? That's the main question. While we figure that out though, guys, there's something we still need to remind you of, and that is vote for your MVPs. I mean, we've talked a lot about Brooks, but there's more that happens on the screen than just Brooks hitting shots. So definitely take your considerations, vote on it on the Twitch panel below. And while we're talking about Twitch, thank you for the huge Prime sub, Sniper Dan. That's something we definitely appreciate, and we hope others of you will also follow Sniper Dan in his wonderful gesture. Do not forget to follow us. If you're on DLive, you're also definitely follow us. And if you're there, you think like, hey, this MVP thing, how can I vote? Just go to the Twitch page, probably also linked. You can just click on the panel, click the player you like. That's just what we want to see. We want to see more players getting recognized and getting recognition for their great plays.
Certainly, and there's a lot of good options on the side of Redacted, especially right now. The entire team there on Ilios really popping off. Those DPS are the ones showing up in the kill feed predominantly, but the entire team really working to enable that play style right now.
Yeah, it's this new meta shift to this playstyle that's going to come in. Obviously, the one team will adapt to it a little bit sooner than the other. Some are like ahead of the curve or behind the curve, and like that's always something we heard Phase 1 talk about that in the last tournament. They said, we really feel like we're ahead of the curve, and if this meta shift, like every 2-2-2 lock were to come to the game, they'd be really ready for it. You do see Redacted also adopting some of those principles. Although that being said, both teams have still run a lot of more than 2 of the same role. So while yes, they might be shifting more to a more DPS style meta, especially on the side of Redacted, that might not be everything that they need. They might need to actually even further develop in order to get the 2-2-2 value.
Certainly, and that's something that I think is on teams' radar a little bit, as they at least try to work on their flexibility in some ways right now. But most teams don't seem to be fully leaning into that just yet. We don't know exactly when 2-2-2 might become a thing, game wide. We
don't even know if. So let's just say
anything at all from Blizzard. So
let's just say that if it comes, then yeah. But it's going to be a fun one. And Dorado, I always love Dorado. Like I've never been to Mexico, but seeing Dorado really wants to make me go to Mexico. It's just this whole style and like the aesthetic of just the hills around it really speaks to me. Like I really like it.
No, for me, this is always one of my favorite maps just visually because it feels very like lived in. This feels like a real place. Whereas a lot of Overwatch maps are kind of fantastical. Heck, we've got a moon base in our game.
Yeah.
But this feels like a place where real people live, and I love to see that.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that you don't believe that we actually have moon bases, but I'll steer clear of that one. We're probably not allowed to reveal that secret yet. But we're gonna see this DPS on both sides. Both sides are running Orysas, but it's gonna be a little bit more DPS on the side of Redacted once again, running that triple DPS with the solo support. Double support, sorry. If it's going to be solo support again for New England Whalers, and they have not that much success with it just yet. Although saying that, Honey Badger takes down Brooks straight away, and that's the one you want to get. We've said it before. If you get down Brooks, you probably get Redacted a little bit on the back foot. They do manage to get the res off though. They tried to deny it, but instead it's going to be Dynamic going down. That's not the one you wanted to have fall because it's your only support. Once again, they've been having some trouble with it. Brooks takes down Biz, and now it looks like they're going to get back. Brooks gets taken down, so there is no res again. But still, they're going to have to back off a little bit on the New England Whalers.
And, I mean, that's the problem when you are running this triple tank style. You don't really have any way to deny that res up on the high ground. Yeatle tries to go up there, but in doing so gets focused down. Makes Dynamic have to overextend to try to get some heals onto the D.Va, and it ultimately falls apart for New England Whalers there.
New England Whalers. I mean, they're going to go forward now. They already take down Beam and Kuya, and they just, they're going to go further to even take down Max Dementia. This is the time. This is the place that they're ever going to get point A. This is really the time to do it in. And it looks like they're going to be able to continue and complete this point. That being said, though, I love a good comeback story, so maybe Redacted can pull something out of the hat here.
It doesn't look like it's going to happen on point A there. They're just going to give this one up for free. Really only getting, those first couple of fights. They only lost one fight here on Dorado, and the point is gone. But they'll regroup here and get ready to defend point B again, trying to keep control of the high ground with these snipers, as Dimbeck is going to be the one to take the frontline battle.
Yeah, they're really doing a good job of that. You already see Brooks being on the side, and even though the sonar arrow was on them, they could still get the kill onto Biz, and that is not what you want to have happen. They do get the res off, but Bob is going to try and do something. He's far away from the fight, though. He's just protecting that flank, but he doesn't need to do anything because Kuya gets the triple with the dragon, and that is the play you're looking for. Kuya really on point with those Hanzo arrows today. The natural ones, the sonar ones, the storm arrows, and even just the double dragons. It is insane to see this Hanzo.
Yeah, he's having unreal impact with Dragon Strikes right now. This is not an ult where you should be picking up triple kills unassisted, you know, without a Graviton Surge or something to keep the enemy team in place, but he's doing it right now.
We're going to get a pause, but it looks like this self-destruct might get some follow-up. They got the Dragon self-destruct in the same place, though, so that might actually not be amazing for them.
I think Dimbek's in a little bit of trouble here. I'm looking at the screen right now. Unless he's got a shield going down in the next 0.2 seconds, he is going to be in for a world of hurt when this bomb goes off. But we're trying to get some server ping issues handled right now, as we want everybody playing at their best for sure.
Yeah, it does look like Dembek has his arm stuck out like he's gonna throw one down, but not entirely sure. Looks like we're gonna get back into the game though, so in a few seconds we'll know exactly what happens because this bomb is about to explode. And it will not get Dembek. He did throw the shield out like I thought I saw. Potato actually falls, but it's gonna be Biz trading out a Max Dimencio, but Brooks is on fire. Just gets dynamic as a follow-up, and you cannot push forward without that healer, because that's the only one they have still.
The problem for Whalers right now is just where do you focus your attention? There are so many threats on the other side of the field. No matter where you look, someone is always ready to take your head off, and they just can't quite seem to deal with this really spread out defense from Redacted.
Yeah, they're not able to get the halt value as well, so they're really having to focus on getting forward, but then Brooks is still behind them. He just has all that freedom. Honey Badger tries to go up there, Biz as well, but Brooks is just too good. Gets both of them just straight away out of there. Bob comes down once again. They do get Kuya, Maximencio, and Dembek though, so it looks like they might be able to go forward a little bit, but it's still Brooks. Brooks up on the balcony, might be able to actually pull something back here. Gets the kill on the Honey Badger, and now Dynamic's life might be in trouble. Gets the dynamite thrown on them, but will that kill Dynamic?
I think not.
No, will not. Just not. That was close though, and Brooks still gets Biz. I mean, that flank is just untouched from them.
I mean, they really don't have any way to contest him. Yeatle is doing his best, but every time he flies up to greet Brooks, he is met with that coach gun. They finally get rid of him.
Yeah, but they lose the signs of dynamic in the process, so they really don't get that much extra ground. They did get the car a little bit further than it was before, but they're just going to have to go back to spawn, it looks like. And Biz is now back on the soldier, does not want to take that Widow duel anymore. And that sort of makes sense. Got taken out by Brooks one too many times, I feel. Honey Badger makes it out alive, and now they're regrouping for the next fight.
Certainly, they're trying to come back in here. They're still not going to have a ton of ultimates going into this. Yeatle with the self-destruct can create a lot of space for the New England Whalers, so be looking out for that, especially if Dimbek throws down this supercharger. The bomb should come in right over the top.
And Kuya coming from behind, just jumps on Dynamic, does not get the kill, but they did get Brooks and Freyu. There comes the blade from Max Dimencio. Will he get more than one? Yes, he'll get two. But meanwhile, he and Kuya will both fall, and the rest comes into Honey Badger. There's not much DPS left here for the defense. In fact, there is none. So this could be a perfect opportunity for them to push forward. Are they going to be able to do so? With a nano on Dembek, that's a lot of damage. The self-destruct zones a little bit, but it doesn't kill anyone. And there's a defensive dragon from Kuya. So now they're going to have to back up again on the New Whalers. And are they going to get the car to the end? Because they have only 50 seconds left.
They are slowly but surely running out of time here. Well played by Redacted, throwing the nano boost onto Dimbek to make sure they have the sustainability on the cart. Gives them a little extra damage so that the Whalers can't just push forward unopposed, but now they've got to find answers here. Honey Badger up on the high ground trying to find an opening pick, and the hook, that could do it.
That's a lot of damage coming out here, and they are going to be able to take out Bob. They don't have to because Brooks is already fallen, so Bob is just a side thought at this point. Kuya tries to drop in, but both him and Dynamic will just go down. Or sorry, him and Beam will go down, and that's going to be the point taken. Almost in overtime, though, so they don't have that much time to make it work on the short point here.
No, but they're going to have some tools to do it, especially as they get these staggered kills now. Potato and Honey Badger both picking up one each, so that's going to give them a little bit of movement here and allow them to take up the positions they want. Honey Badger will get res back up shortly, so they're still looking pretty solid here, especially with Lucid Science's Supercharger about to be ready.
Yeah, the Supercharger comes out immediately. There is a Dynamite onto them, but the healing is there right now. Dragon doesn't get anything right now with the Blade Might, gets onto Lucid Science, and both him and Biz will fall. It's going to be Max Dementia trying to find more, but there is not really that much more to find. As I say that, I do get the kill on Dynamic and Honey Badger. Brooks falls as a result, but it doesn't really matter if your spawns are closer. And another push from New England Whalers stopped by Redacted. Redacted? I mean, even though the second point fell, they are still doing very well.
Yeah, it's kind of been a bend but don't break mentality for them so far. They've given up a decent amount of movement on this cart, but they're still in pretty firm control here as we head into what is likely to be the final fight. New England Whalers got to make something happen here and now, but they've got 4, potentially even 5 ults coming online for this fight.
Yeah, there are the Dragons coming out over to Dembek, but Dembek doesn't fall because of the healing and the nice fortify. Self-destruct does get Kuya though, and Biz gets a kill on this with the Tech Visor. Even Honey Badger chiming in here. Once again, they're getting a few kills in succession, and this might be another time where they can just push it through. But will they be able to make it to the end? They might actually. Although Kuya and Brooks with that Bob and Dragon could do a lot of harm here.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to stick around, but the tanks are there for the side of New England Whalers, and they're making it happen.
Yeah, Bob is already down. The Dragon didn't get anything, and meanwhile, just Potato walking forward with that whole hog gets the kill on the Kuya. Dembek is back on the Wrecking Ball, and so is Brooks. There's another Dragon Blade from Max Dementio, gets Dynamic before the rest can come up, but Yeedle is just trying to trade it back, gets all those kills in this last fight. Will they be able to clean it up though, because the respawns are so much closer for the defense? Redacted coming back in with more and more members, and they're not able to finally push all the members off, and New England Whalers will not complete the map. They almost got there, but it wasn't quite enough.
We've said his name over and over and over again tonight, but Brooks, once again, coming through in the clutch for Redacted, gets a triple kill in that fight, even as his team is losing members. His 3 kills make sure that they're going to be able to keep that fight going for long enough to get those respawns back onto the cart. You know, the spawns for New England Whalers just so far away. Anyone who dies can't get back into the engagement before it's over. And Redacted able to hold on by the skin of their teeth there.
Yeah, and as a reminder, of course, keep voting for your MVPs, guys. It's not over just yet. Before the match ends, we will only crown it after the match ends. Before the match ends, make sure to have voted, because otherwise it might not be counted. And if you're too late, it might just mean that the player you voted for doesn't win. It could be a 1 vote difference, who knows? But yeah, we're going to continue here on Dorado, obviously. We're going to see a little bit of a different style coming out here for the defense, because it looks like Biz wants to be on the May. Potato going over to the Torbjorn. Could it be that we're going to see the Clockwork Vendetta style?
It's definitely on the table here, especially as New England Whalers, they need an answer here. They've got to change something up, because the way they've been playing with the triple tank, the solo healing from Dynamic just hasn't been cutting it so far tonight. So they are going to try to switch things up a little bit here, as you said, going over to the Clockwork Vendetta composition here. But once again, those snipers going to be terrifying on the other side.
And Max Dementio will try to boop some people off here with the fire, already throwing so much damage into the Orisa shield. The turret will fall, but the turret's not a member of the team. Potato is, and when he falls, that's a way bigger deal. They don't have Dynamic on the Mercy this time, so they'll actually not be able to res that Torbjorn back up, and that's such a big tool gone. Now they'll have to try and defend like behind this gate, which is a very strong holdable position, and they're looking to do so, but it's going to be hard for them. It's going to be Biz trying to stall as long as possible from that side room, and the halt hook comes out, Brooks falls, and I don't think that's a reasonable position if it's in the middle of the enemy team, so it's going to be up to the rest of Redacted to try and push further forward, but Biz walls off Dembeck, gets the freeze, they get the kill. This looks like a proper hold here for New England Whalers now, and especially with Potato coming back, and they might just want to reset a little bit.
Yeah, that disengage from New England Whalers was very solid. They're losing Potato early on. They back up into the courtyard. They make sure that they keep all of those damage dealers from Redacted in front of them, so that Orisa Shield is getting as much value as possible, and eventually they're able to find the opening pick from the hook.
Yeah, and the opening pick from the hook is really what has not been working out for them that much lately. So if they can get more of those combos out, that could be great. Dembeck does get the kill in the turret here, but it's Biz just in that little choke, just trying to get everything done. But then Kuya walks up, no block, no wall. Kuya will take out Biz. Honey Badger will also fall, and Potato. It looks like this defense is about to be over, at least for the first point, because that is so much done here. They got the kill to Kuya, but that's about the only thing they're gonna get, it seems like.
A rather quick point A take here for Redacted. Not a terrible defense for the Whalers here, but we are now moving into the crucial stage of this defense for the Whalers here. If they can regroup, they can leverage their ult economy into a solid defense here, they can make something out of this.
Kuya got sniped by Potato there on the rivet gun, and just in chat, just exclamation marks. She's like, whoa, you never see that happen. But nicely done by Potato. They do lose Lucid Science though, so both teams a little bit on the back foot here. But with Biz falling, that's still an advantage for Redacted. And look who's in the backline. Brooks is already on the second checkpoint, just looking to see shoot anything they can find. But they found Brooks as well, so Brooks is not going to be able to hold on to that position for too long. Looking for a little bit of a grapple shot, though.
Actually winds up on the low ground here, so not quite having the angles that he wants for these shots. But Max Dimencio going to be able to take down Honey Badger. And, you know, that just makes it so hard for the New England Whalers to push out here.
There's so many ultimates online for both teams. Like, when are they going to get used? Because they've had them for quite a while already. And it looks like they're finally going to get a thing out. But Kuya is behind them. Kuya went into spawn to kill Honey Badger. But now they're coming out. They're throwing the multi-core onto the point. But it's not enough because the Blizzard has to also follow up. And they don't even get Dembeck with that. So 2 ultimate shoes. No value just yet. The Lucid Science falls, but so does Dembeck. This is going back and forth. And Beam just manages to get the res off. So it's not going to be able to stop them. They used everything they had besides the nano because Honey Badger was dead, otherwise they might have used it anyways, and they get nothing for it.
They just come into that fight incredibly spread out. Honey Badger gets spawn camped by Kuya. Dynamic on the Zenyatta is halfway across the map from the rest of his team. His Transcendence not really in time to provide the protection they needed, and now they are, you know, 1 point away from dropping down into the lower bracket here in the first round.
Yeah, Brooks just face to face with Winston, just walks up to him and says, you know what, I'm still going to click you in the face no matter how close you are. You're actually making it easier for me. So Lucid Science is already down. It's now finally coming back to the fight because they just had to wait. Meanwhile, the car's just pushing. It's so close to the end already, and they still have over 3.5 minutes. Brooks gets Potato. Max Dimencio just gets Lucid Science. Yes, they trade Brooks out, but they've already lost so much, and they keep losing more and more and more. It's just Yeetle on the point with the last Yeetle stand. And I don't think it's going to be enough for them because Yeetle, while he's trying so hard and took so long to actually die, and they're still numbers down and they only get the kill into Kuya, they really need some more.
They are desperately trying to keep this one going. Biz over onto the Tracer, stalling things out on the cart, but it is a desperate attempt. He's being swarmed on all sides. It's just down to the staggers here. Whalers need to find kills if they want to have any chance of turning this around.
And it doesn't look like they're going to get much done because they keep losing members and they keep not getting the kills they need. Potatoes on the Doomfist now. Doesn't get anything for it just yet. Will actually just go down. And it looks like Redacted is going to just be able to clean this up in the end. It will take them a little bit longer because they've got a lot of small mobile targets against them. And with Max Dimencio's barrage, looks like that's probably going to be the last hurrah. New England Whalers getting another one down, and Redacted going up to 3-0, winning the series and taking home their first game of the Star Esports All-Stars Brawl.
No, they are looking confident, and they are looking, motivated right now. Redacted coming out incredibly strong in their first game of the tournament. Third place in the last event, looking like they want to change that and increase their standing here this time around, and off on the right foot.
And definitely off on the right foot, and yeah, I mean, it's well done from Redacted, obviously. Although I will say, New England Whalers did look pretty good on Junkertown. But after that, it just seemed to sort of fall apart, and I don't really know where that happened. It was a little bit of an interesting thing, and sometimes you can sometimes just pin it on one player. You say, "Oh, Brooks got everything," but doesn't always necessarily have to be that case there.
No, I mean, for me, I gotta say they impressed me there on Dorado. Their attack round on Dorado was very, very solid. They ultimately didn't finish the map, and they got slowed down considerably in Point B. That's where things kind of ground to a halt a little bit for the Whalers, but they looked like they had a plan of attack there on Dorado at least, and they were much better prepared for what Redacted brought to the table. I think Ilios, they really got caught off guard, especially on Well, where we saw the Reaper and the Torbjorn. But New England Whalers showing a little bit of fight there towards the end of the series, although the 3-0 not the most competitive of all time. But Redacted looking very, very strong.
Yeah, it's week one. We're not expecting every match to be a 3-2 clasher that we usually get towards the end of tournaments like this. But it's still nice to see both teams being able to participate, being able to put up a fight. And, get your MVP votes in still, guys. It's still possible. We haven't picked one yet, so you can still have a little bit of a shot. And meanwhile, while you guys are still voting, we got someone in here that is definitely going to be a talking point for everyone after this one. Brooks, welcome to the chat.
What's up, man?
Yeah, congratulations on that one.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, you showed up a lot in the kill feed, so I must imagine it was a good match for you. Yeah, it was not necessarily a close game, but you at least feel sometimes a little bit like, oh yeah, were you a little bit on the back foot every now and then at least?
Last map, Dorado. Honey Badgers Hanzo kind of gave me the smack. Other than that, everything was fine. It just every other map. Yeah, I don't know. Kind of just rolled through. Dorado, kind of challenging.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's it like What's it like to kind of be in the zone like it seemed like you were, especially there on Junkertown and Ilios? Just it seemed for a while there like you could do no wrong. Were you feeling especially good here tonight, or what made that possible?
I kind of just wanted to flank the whole entire match, so I told Beam to pocket me the whole match, and I kind of just couldn't die, and I kind of just flanked and killed a bunch of people every time. And yeah, I've been prepping this match for a little bit now, playing ladder, and that's all I've been doing. Beam was popping off too. He literally didn't die in Mercy, and my partner in crime, Dimbeck, yeah, he kind of didn't die either. So I think we were just all in the zone, and it kind of showed.
Yeah, it definitely did. I want to ask, at one point you're playing a triple sniper composition with the Ash, the Widowmaker, and the Hanzo. So kind of walk our viewers through what is the idea behind playing something like that.
So I don't think New England Whalers have ever seen triple sniper before, and I don't think they know how to take every single angle, because Yido kind of just was frozen. Like, he didn't know what to do, and a lot of them were like that. So we had every angle in the game, causing them not to be able to push. Like, we lost first fight at Junkertown on Goats, and then they kind of just, like, I don't know, they just froze up when we went triple sniper. We have every angle in the game, basically. So, yeah, it's just something they didn't expect. Just like our Reaper comp, let's say it's one's comp, and it worked the same as triple sniper.
For sure. I mean, and we got to see you also break out the Reaper on Ilios. Is that something that you guys do in anticipation for what you saw from New England Whalers? The Winston Goats on the other side.
Yeah, we kind of knew they were going to go float some map because then Beck played against them in a scrim last night as a ringer, and we knew what they were going to run on Ilios, so we knew they were going to go float, so we just went phase 1, and it completely counteracts dive in every way possible, and yeah.
Certainly.
Makes sense, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what are they going to dive? A Torb, a Reaper? An Orisa, a Hanzo?
Yeah, you don't want to have that happen to you if you're a Winston, because that's not going to go well for you, as it showed. Yeah. Are you at all like? Because I imagine you play Reaper more than just for your team. Like you play in rank at all?
No, I just play it for my team. I never play it. I used to be in New England Whalers, and I would play Reaper a lot then. But yeah, I left for Redacted.
Oh, interesting. So what was it like? Going up against your former team. I know a lot of the players have changed, but is there any added motivation there?
Yeah, it was a lot of added motivation because a lot of my friends left the team for reasons I probably shouldn't say, and so I really wanted to beat them today, and yeah.
Well, you did. So congrats. Yeah. Well, and not just that, you also got the MVP vote from the viewers. So you definitely showed up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks,
I'm not
guys.
surprised. I'm not surprised. We were not completely unbiased. I think we said your name a few too many times compared to other people. But
I got 143 votes. Holy.
I mean, you know what? As many times as you showed up in the kill feed, I think it's more than deserved. I mean, you can say your team helped you out a lot, which they definitely did. But in the end, you still got to hit those shots. So I'm definitely agreeing with the vote there for you. But before we let you go, obviously, still congratulations. Good luck in the future matches. But I always want to give you just the opportunity to shout out whatever you want, as long as it's within the profanity filters.
Yeah, no, okay. Shout out to Dimbeck. Shout out to my whole team. Shout out to Angelica. Shout out to my mom. Shout out to our manager Vanny, Taylor. What else is there? That's about all. Shout out to Sniper Dan. Most importantly, that's about all.
Okay, yeah, I mean, Sniper Dan definitely got us there with the power of Twitch Prime as well tonight. So definitely a big shout out for Sniper Dan. And yeah, with that, thank you for joining us for the interview, Brooks.
No problem, man. Anytime.
Yeah, hope to see you in the next one.
Yeah, see you later.
Yeah, that's I think that's it for now, though, Shy Guy. I mean, we do have another match later, but that's still a while before that one starts.
Certainly, this one got over pretty quickly, so we've got about an hour until we'll be back going live with XK Esports taking on Turbulence. Congratulations, of course, again to Redacted here tonight. We're excited to see them progress through the upper bracket of this tournament. Not all is not lost for the New England Whalers. They will drop down to the lower bracket and join us back here in a little while for some more wonderful Overwatch action.
Yeah, so we'll be back at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is, obviously a very beautiful time zone as well. But we will then be here with Turbulence versus SK Esports. For now, though, we're going to bid you a little bit of a goodbye. Obviously, we'll see you in about an hour. But definitely don't forget to, once again, follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Twitch. Follow us on DLive, wherever you think it's possible. Definitely follow us there. And don't forget to check out our wonderful sponsor, or at least, our partner in crime, OmniCoach. Visit OmniCoach.gg, get that promo code in, Star Esports, and you get 10% off on your first video package order. So definitely don't forget to do that. Give them a shout out. They also have a Twitter, do a lot of updates. I think they even have something going on with the replay system currently, which is pretty good thing. For now, though, I've been Man of Class. I've been partnered here with my lovely Shy Guy, and we'll see you guys in the next one.